So, hi David. Is that your name also?
That is, absolutely.
Hi David. Hi David. I'm Jeanette.
Hi, Jeanette.
And I think more people should understand that good quality organic food makes a difference to adults and children, to our health and our happiness and our well-being.
Sure.
I also think that more people should understand that paying attention to and being kind to children will make a better world in the future. I also think that people should understand that people are more important than profit, and that our politicians who only are concerned about making more money and helping rich people make more money are not going to do good things for humans and the world. How's that?
It's a lot.
All right.
I love it.
Okay.
Is there one of those that you feel very, very passionate about that we could maybe explore a little bit to understand further?
The third one, I'm really upset about something that's been going on in this country for most of its history, which is the laws and the politicians protecting the wealthy. I come from Texas and Oklahoma. I know about oil and gas, and we're making bad decisions in our legislatures at the national level and the local level to protect the power of people who have more money and are more interested in protecting business than individual humans.
Yeah. Do you think that the people whose interests are not protected support this?
Well, since the time of Nixon and Reagan, there have been interesting coalitions like around abortion, which Republicans never cared one way or the other about abortion rights, but they figured out that they could organize Catholics, conservative Protestants, and
like baseball game is that what you're hearing?
oh, maybe that's it. Some conservative Republicans, and create a big enough voting bloc to get people who were more interested in business doing well than in the needs of local people. And so that kind of coalition that has existed in various forms in this country has been pretty good at convincing, like, working people that these rich people really have their interests at heart when they don't.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, one example of that is some of those cancer alleys down along the Gulf, where people are being poisoned by the chemicals that the companies that they work for put in their water.
Yeah.
And they still hate the EPA, which would be a federal agency that would help protect them.
Yeah.
And they vote for people who hate the EPA. I mean, it makes no sense. Somehow more progressive interests in this country in recent years have been less successful at convincing the middle of the need to care for the environment and care for people and feed children in schools and pay teachers better.
Yeah.
So,
why do you think you were convinced differently and other people aren't?
I grew up in Oklahoma in a Republican family.
Yeah.
And I went to college in New England in the late 1960s and early 70s, and I discovered the connection between ethical and moral and religious values and politics. And so I've tried to follow the better teachings of religion, and have been part of organizations that care about those things together, like the North Carolina Council of Churches. And I'm a Presbyterian minister by ordination and training, and I run a small nonprofit. And so I watched myself kind of learn from people around me. I think a lot of us sort of do what our friends do, and and are influenced by the people that we're in relationship with. So I think that's and I watch people I know, some people I'm related to, who sit and watch Fox News all day and believe what they hear there. So, yeah.
Do you think if these friends went to the same college you went to and were subjected to the same ideas, they would come out a different?
They
way?
They might if they didn't participate in the news and the churches and the neighborhoods that they live in. One example of that is that I knew some women in more conservative churches who went to national gatherings like Church Women United or their national denominational gatherings were exposed to broader ideas and went home and became the sort of oddball who thought differently in their home. So I think the people we're in relationship with really make a difference.
So what do you think about being in a relationship with someone with different views?
I think that's really important.
Why do you think that is different than just hearing the ideas?
Well, I think for two reasons. I think we need to stay in relationship with people who differ from us because we can learn from one another.
Yeah.
There is great hubris behind most opinions for most of us, and we can learn from one another. And I also, so some of my neighbors right now are much more conservative than I am, and I try to listen some to what they have to say and to say sometimes what I think. And
Sure.
you know, we are influenced by one another, so I think the relationships really matter. That's why some of the people I admire in Durham are doing what they call deep canvassing, which is just knocking on doors and talking to people about what they care about, rather than telling them what they should do or who they should vote for.
I have a similar mindset, I think, with this. This is under an umbrella of something called street epistemology, which is kind of a similar mentality.
Nice to meet you.
You as well. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, you're a videographer and a philosopher.
Yeah.
And
armchair.
And this is a project you're just doing for you, or?
Yeah, for fun. Like I like people. I like people understanding each other, and I like wrestling with these ideas. I'm kind of like an optimist in a way that maybe if the right arrangement of ideas and words can come together, something can happen.
Yeah, right. We've the progressive side in this country is not as good at coming up with little short phrases, and the more conservative folks keep coming up with things that people pick up and use. I mean, one that comes to mind right now is.
I'd love to record this thought if you don't mind.
All right.
If it's okay.
Yeah. So I don't think that the progressive folks in this country have been as good at coming up with sound bites, things that people remember. So one phrase that comes to mind is feminazi. There were never feminists who were like Nazis. There were people who disagreed with feminist opinions, but that phrase caught on. Or Hillary Clinton's emails.
Yeah.
You know, we'll never know for sure, but it may have sunk her chances to be president. And so conservative forces have been really good at coming up with these saleable, repeatable sound bites, and news media pick them up, and then it becomes a reality even if it's not. So
why do you think these motifs or these sound bites are so influential?
I don't know. I mean, that's a big question about how there are people who've done experiments to see if they could get little phrases to flow across the population. And if you get them, if they're succinct enough and catchy enough, there are ways to get. I think social media has sped all that up. But
hashtags.
But I mean, 100 years ago, small town newspapers were no kinder to people in need or to justice issues or to anti-racist work than the internet is now. So I can't blame social media for anything except the speed of it all.
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you so much for talking.
Yeah.
This is great information.